It's Monday, December 12th, 2022, back for another daily review of the NASDAQ. And the market just closed a little while ago. Let's take a look at what happened today. Had a bullish up range day, inside bar to Friday's candle and close near to the high. I was thinking yesterday that we might see a bullish move because of how we were bouncing off of this monthly. Took this daily and then created this order block. Then Friday gapped up, left this imbalance here and another imbalance here below Friday's low. I thought that we might see a move below the low from Friday, and that would be an ideal spot to long from. We did not get that, but instead what we did get was what I'm about to show you here. So I noticed that we were working within this imbalance right here. And, at the time of Asia, when I was recording my forecast, I was saying I didn't really want to long here because I didn't know what price was going to do when it hit this gap. And when I woke up at right before New York Stock Exchange open, I saw that we broke out of Asia range with a nice imbalance here. And then, what we did not see was we did not see rejection from this gap. Usually when you have a gap that's going to work, it'll just tap into it a few times and then, you'll get some wicks. It'll look, in most cases, it'll look very reactive. Like it doesn't want to be here. In this case, we get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles or so where it's kind of freely occupying this space, if you will, and not seeing any rejection. And the first time you do get the rejection is at the New York Stock Exchange open, where price did spike down, took out this low from London, and then had a very nice close back to this range where price was for the few hours prior. And, when you see something like that, I think that it's likely to be some sort of Judas down move before expansion higher, which is what happened. But that doesn't mean you always are going to win, as I'm about to show you. So what happened today? So New York Stock Exchange open, 15-minute, price came down, took the low, had an aggressive move away. This is what I would call the false start. I've talked about this before, how close to the open, the market kind of looks really, really strong in one direction or another. And I think it kind of is a trap where it lures people in. It's a false start. Market then comes back down, does more business again down here, takes out the lows one more time, and then does the move away. For me, that's part of the thing when you see a close like this after hitting some lows from London and Asia high, and you see a candle like this, there's a blessing and a curse with candles like this. Sometimes you can live and die by these. Sometimes it works where you see a clean rejection look like this, and then that's the low. That's it. It's not going to come back anywhere near there. And then other times this happens where it just does that one extra dip to take people like me out. And that's what happens. So let's get rid of this. Why did I take a trade? Why did I buy this? Well, for all the reasons I mentioned prior. And then I liked that we had this 5-minute gap. I was a little apprehensive about this. Now, this did put me off, and this is something to be aware of. This totally was a red flag, but I just it wasn't enough for me to pull the order. I would have been upset if I pulled the order and then saw it go. And, this took liquidity, created this order block, rejected, didn't get tested until here. And that's what took me into my order here. Actually, I didn't enter here. So I saw this 5-minute gap, but where I entered was on the 1 minute. And very happy. I mean, I'm fine with this. It's unfortunate the way it turned out. Now, the one thing I'm not happy about, so I had my buy here, stop below here. What I'm not happy about is I didn't do one thing I normally always do right before I'm about to enter a trade like this, which is to compare it to the S&P. And usually what I'll do is if I'm buying, I will look to see which one is stronger. And if one looks stronger than the other and they both show the same type of setup, I will take the S&P, I will take the stronger one. And in recent weeks, if you've watched a few of my recaps where I've been trading the S&P It's usually for this reason where it's just a little bit cleaner or it looks a little bit stronger if I'm buying. Now, if you look at side by side, we can see this divergence where, so this is where this liquidity grab was on NASDAQ. My entry was right around here. And at that time, had I looked and I would have seen this, how S&P is making a higher low while this is making a lower low. And then if I go to the 1 minute where the actual entry was, so this is at the exact same time. So I entered here and I could have entered the very same type of setup on S&P and that would have held and that would have been a winning trade, as you can see. But, you know, it's usually like the last check. I compare the two to see which one is stronger. And if I had done that today, I would be a little bit happier, but that's okay. Then what happened? Well, there was an opportunity for me to take another trade, and I'm going to blame my wife. I'll explain in a second why. But as you can see here, after this second stop run, price rallies, creates an imbalance. This is a breaker. We're also above New York Stock Exchange open again. And this would have been a good entry as well. I wish I took it. I wish I would have gotten back that loss and gotten a winner here. But Monday, normally my wife takes my daughter to school. And today my wife asked me if I could do it. So I was not looking at around this time and did not really look at the chart till after the fact and didn't get back in. But maybe I should have gotten back in here actually. But actually once it spiked this, I just left it alone. And that's what happened. So all good. My original, and you can see this gapped on the 15-minute too. Damn, that was good. That was good. Ideally, I would have gotten in the re-entry right here, probably at that opening price. I don't think the stop had to be at the low, so maybe something like that below the bodies. And then my target would have been here. This is where my original target was on my first trade that got stopped out on. And that would have been about 1 to 4, I think. And this one would have been about, 2.5. Maybe it would have been, something like that. Above these highs, on the 15-minute, you can see these clean highs and this imbalance. So that's what I was targeting. And always a bummer when you are in a trade and get taken out and then it goes in your direction. But what's good about it is you can learn from it and see, okay, what are the conditions? What happens those times when you are in a trade, it takes you out and then goes to your target without you? What is the lesson to be learned? Instead of just feeling the pain of that, because I know that can be painful when you're kind of right on your analysis and you're then taken out and you see it go just what you thought it was going to do. And then you get that feeling, and it sucks. But I think the takeaway, again, as I mentioned, was to just put a little bit more thought into, do I want to take S&P or do I want to take NASDAQ? If we go side by side again, one is stronger than the other. One is stronger than the other. One had this, if you just compare, just visually looking at it, Asia high, this had a much stronger break. This had a weaker break. And then, of course, comparing the lows, the divergence here, lower lows, and then higher lows here. So same setup. If I had just taken an S&P, we wouldn't even be having that conversation. And then here, it still played out, but took the low one more time, and this should have been the re-entry. But all good. It happens. We will have other opportunities. So what do we have for tomorrow? Too early to say. I'm not going to make any calls right now, except to say that we still have these. Now we have more lows kind of building up here. We still have a daily imbalance below this, and we have not really broken higher. So we're still within, contained here. And it wouldn't surprise me if let's say, well, nothing would surprise me, but if we come down again, I think this still is a valid play. If we get the confirming price action on the lower time frame, we'll have to see. Or if we see a break higher, we'll have to see how it breaks and what we get. We are operating in this imbalance here. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. I'm not going to make any forecasts, but I mean, any forecasts that could go up and down, it could go down and up, go up, down, then up. What's the point in even talking about it? Just point out that we have these lows here. We have this gap here. We have, there's also high impact news tomorrow on Tuesday as well. So we'll just be cautious. I'm not going to trade right around the news, but if there's a clean setup that shows either before or after and doesn't expose me to too much risk, I will take the trade, assuming I am paying attention. That's it for today. We will be back tomorrow. Hope you had a good day, and good luck the rest of the week.